Well, trying this on a new phone. Here's my shelf I built, and here's my new lathe that came today. Really nice truck driver, and I was showing him this rat rod here, but with this little electric thing he was able to get this crate all the way to here. Getting up on that bench is going to be a problem, but we'll just do a little unboxing of it and show you what we got. Got the lid off the crate. This time since I did one of them, I just kind of tore it apart. This time I'm taking it apart a little easier. Basically, get a little screwdriver and pry these clips back, and then you can pound them straight. But looks like the other one, it's just got a little thin plastic bag on it. This one looks a little better than the last one, but I'll go ahead and finish taking the sides off of this. I didn't realize which way it was. I've got it in backwards. I need the heavy end over this side, but I'll unbolt it from the crate. Worry about getting it up later. Well, I turned it on and it just barely turning. A little better, and that's at maximum here. So I'm going to take these screws loose. There's a little tool kit that came with it. I got a steady rest and a follow rest. Overall, it seems to be higher quality than the other one. The feed screw is better. Everything just seems to be a little better, but I think somehow this it's binding up either in the headstock or in these gears. But I'm going to loosen the gears up and take them out of the equation and see if I can get this thing to run at the right speed. Well, this idler gear here is really hot. I've loosened up some adjustments here. I'm not sure what's happening. I'll have to look at the manual, because this has got a low and high speed on it, and I'll see if I can do something about getting the tension off of it. I'm not exactly sure how to do this at the moment, but I'll break it down a little further and see if I can get the tension off of whatever's going on there. Well, I was able to get back here. This has got a block that's turning somehow, and I was able to get the motor to turn freely. We're looking good here, but I think there's something here in this bearing. Looks like the nut might be hitting the bearing. I'm kind of afraid to try to adjust it here, but I was able to get a wrench on it and move it. I guess this is just a lock screw. I can't see how it's doing much of anything. Anyway, I'll play with this, see if I can get it to adjust. Well, I fooled around with this. Got the plate off in the motor. I tried loosening this up. It actually works pretty good here. Goes on and off easy enough. The motor shaft didn't. It might be a little bit boogered up. I'm going to take that off and get it clean, but I loosened this, and this is the adjuster. And I think what happens, they just got a couple washers in there and a cheap nut. And I think this thing was so tight that it wasn't moving it at all. And so I'm gonna clean that up, make the right spacer so I can tighten it up and it won't put the motor in such a bind. So I think I got that solved. Well, I got this back in. There's a block you can get back here. I can't really see it, but you can, that block right there, you can twist it, which brings this this pulley here up and tightens it. I've got everything back here where it should be. I'll put my circlip on here. Runs good. The belt's a little loose right now, but I can see that this is supposed to rotate a little, and when you adjust this little screw right here, this will pull it back, and it should seek a happy medium between these two pulleys. So I'm going to try to go the little to the big. That'll give me my slowest speeds. Put that in and see how it works. Well, I got them both pretty tight here. They're really close to hitting this bolt down here, but it is clearing it. Let's see what happens with the spindle hooked up. Well, looks like that. It's got to be tightened some. Hopefully this is tightening it. Doesn't seem to be doing much good here. Yeah, pulley's just running away from the belt. And it's getting hot again. I think that's because it's slipping. So I'm going to try adjusting this down. It'll give me a little slack here and tighten this one. Try it again. Nope. I'm getting grinding noises on it now. I'm not sure what's going on here. Not much good me thinking and you watching the video. I'll see if I can figure it out off camera. I finally got it. See, I've got this pretty loose right now. I had to take this tailstock loose here, move it back at least half a turn. I don't know how much play I got in it now, but the headstock was getting warm, still is. I finally got the gears figured out, or the belts here. They seem to be doing all right. I did check my low, medium, and high feed rate out, and I got a forward and reverse that's actually working here. I couldn't hardly turn this with my hand before, but I've got it loosened up. I know it's got tapered bearings in it, and it shouldn't be getting hot at all, and it's fairly warm. I don't know how these things oil. I might have to take this headstock off of here and see what's happening, but we'll give you a little preview here and forward. We're running at 900, 920, speeding up. But engage my half nut, and it's going along pretty good. This is at the medium speed. I can change it over here to low. See, it's creeping along, and that's what I need for a good finish. I put it on high. There's high there. Yeah, that's doing a pretty good cut. Medium. And not very easy. Low speed. That's all good, and my forward and reverse works here. You can see it's reversing. And put it back on high. High's working good. Up to 1700, that's buzzing along good now. I can feel a little vibration, but not very much. And 600 speed is good enough. Now the forward and reverse up here. If I put it in reverse, see, it just turns a little bit and then dies, and then it turns off altogether. Turn it off, put it in reverse. Those are my good glasses, I don't want to mess them up. Put it in reverse, nothing. Hit my power. Well, it's working good in reverse now. So forward and reverse works. looks to me like this is, yeah, it's running in reverse. $1,700, 400. Let's try to go to forward again. Forward's working good. Feed's working good. I don't feel hardly any vibration in the lathe. It's just sitting here on a piece of thin plywood. So anyway, I think I've got it working. I'll have to figure out some way of checking my end play there and getting it right. I'll probably take the whole thing apart eventually, but it wasn't running at all when I first started on it, and seems to be running pretty good now, and I'm happy with the speeds on it. It looks like it's going to cut pretty good, so I think it's good enough to finish taking it off of the bench here. I probably spent 4 or 5 hours playing with this thing. But I'm not gonna, it looks like I'll be able to salvage it. I won't have to send it back, so I can get it off of there and get it up here. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll bring it back. I get a cup of coffee and a little rest in me. Well, I got it up and running pretty quiet, and got a mill bit in there, and it's running about 1/10,000th, which is surprisingly good. So it looks like that chuck is good enough. This is aluminum, and also it looks like it needs some adjustment here too. I tightened the gibs up, but it looks like there's some more can be done here in this end of it. Yeah, that's moving 15-20,000. That's no good. I'm gonna put a quick change tool post on it, but I still need to do something about this this business in here. Should be some way of tightening it. But anyway, the chuck is good, which is kind of surprising. I'll see if I can hook me up a tool bit and make some kind of a cut here and see what happens. Well, there's a little set of cheap little bits that came with it, and I'll put it in that tail, or in this cross slide, and there it just wouldn't even come close to fitting. Even my big 1/2 inch stuff was still way too low, so I got a 1/4 inch piece of brass there, and I've got it to where it's, you know, pretty close to being on center. Might be a little high, but we'll try that. And I got a 1 inch piece of steel here that's been chewed up before, and we'll try a cut with it. Well, I tried one little pass here. just barely touching this stuff, and it got into the good part of the bar, and it turned it real nice. So we're gonna fire it up again. I'm running 720. I'm gonna bump this up to about 1,000. I'm just gonna take it over here to touch off. I'm gonna take it to the bad spot. Here's the bad spot. Make contact. Not taking a lot off of there. Run her back. I'm going to take it in. I guess these are millimeters or tenths. I'm going to take it in 3/10. See what happens. Not much of a cut. I'm going to take it in another 1.5. Let's see what that does. See what happens when it gets into my good cut. Move down right away. I really don't like this movement here. I'm going to take another I don't know how much that is. 1.5 down to 0. I think that's might be 1.5 millimeters. Didn't like that. There it goes. Well, that don't look too bad. Let's try a spring cut here. Don't look like it's taking much off. Say that's pretty good. It's not a bad finish. It's not real good, but it's not bad. And I guess that this thing says each marking is 0.05 millimeters. So I guess 5 of them would be 1/10 of a millimeter. I'm bringing in, touch off, and try something. Just touched off. I'm going to try 5 of these marks. 1, 2, 5, whatever it is. And this is on slow feed. That's what I'm mostly interested in. It's making a pretty nice cut. Well, that's not bad at all. Particularly since I don't have it on center. So that was 5 marks, whatever that is. I'm going to take 10 this time and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That looks like a pretty good cut. Let's see what that does. I'm still running about 1,000 RPM. Half nut's not real solid. So 10 of those, I believe, is 1 millimeter. I was taking that real sweet. Try another 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's see what that does. And then we'll let it go until I hit that last one. That'll be 20 divisions. Taking it real sweet. Let's see what happens when it hits the 20. Didn't like that. Yeah, I got quite a bit of chatter right there. So that's twice as much. A lot of that is because of this slide here. I'll have to fix that, but this is supposed to be a 1-horse motor, and it should be able to take that pretty well. One thing, the tool bit is so high. Oh, that's really bad. Tightening that doesn't make any difference. I think I'll try to adjust those gibs and get that out of there. Alright, I've got the gibs tightened up. That stopped all of that. Let's try to engage it and see what it does with the same cut. I'll touch off here. And touch off. Still don't like it. Let's try our 5 here. 2, 4. Let's try 7 just for the fun of it. Taking 7 pretty good. That's pretty good, and it's not a bad finish. We'll try one more here with a, let's try it on a high speed. Not much iron in here. Put it called middle feed. We'll do the same thing, touched off. I'm going to try 5, 2, 4, 5. It's not doing bad there either. Change to that was middle. This should be high. No, that's our slow. Not too far. Doing bad on high. Let's try 5, 10, see what happens. Took 10 pretty good. Let's try a spring pass. Bringing off blue chips. I'll try the middle speed. Try another 10, 5, 10. Brought the speed down to about 700. Try a spring pass at 700. Cleaning up pretty good. And it's 10 divisions. I haven't figured out what that is. 1 millimeter, I guess. Yep, taking it off real nice. Let's get it to our low speed. And we'll take another 10. 5, 10, I guess. Half nut's not real good. Yeah, you can see it's a lot slower. Well, it's even the medium is doing real well. I'm going to try a spring pass across there again just to see if that'll clean up. Not really changing much. Take off 2 of these marks. All in all, I'd say that's pretty good. Slow speed's taking it real nice. When I pulled out, I got a little bit of a scratch in it. Anyway, I think that's good enough for what I want. Now I'm going to back this thing out of here and set me up a boring thing and see if I can drill a hole. That's what I really need it for. Well, I had a little rest, and you saw the tool height problem I had, and now I've got a Schar's adjustable tool post. The only problem is that this was the bolt that went into this aluminum one, and this is a bolt that came in the Schar's. So as you can see, there's quite a difference. The best way would be to turn this bolt down to this size and metric thread it. The next best solution would be to put this on here and get a bolt that's this size that would fit in there with a collar, and then I could put in my this part here that locks it. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't know how accurate this thing is for threading. I've probably got a thread point somewhere. This is a machine to go into a thing that slides in a gib. This right here, of course, I don't have the kind of tool post that will hold that. I'll try to make a little better with the camera here. I know I keep pointing it down too low, but I think really that would be the best bet, is to cut this bolt off and thread it. That would be my best bet. Next thing is just to get a bolt that's big and make a bushing. Now that'd probably be just as good. Making a bushing probably be about as much trouble as, I have to bore a 4-inch hole in something. And I don't even think I've got a piece of steel that's that big. I might. Yeah, 5/8. I got enough steel to do it. Yeah, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's going to be kind of hard to thread something that long, or bore a hole that long in something. So I guess I could dig out my thread gauge and at least turn this bolt down to the right size. I could turn it down to this size here, and if worst come to worst, I could just buy a, that's what I'll do. Instead of me trying to cut those threads, I'll just get a die and cut them. So got to kind of put it back together and make it that size. I put this old chuck back together and cut this down. It's 385. I don't know what that is in metric, but it's just a skosh smaller than the post. And now I'll take this apart again. One reason I don't like this is the handle hits the bolt here, and I can't get the thing off without taking out a clamp bolt. So I'll take that out and we'll see if we can find a die for it. Well, I went to put this tool post on here, and I had to I think I showed you in the last video, I had to make a stud for it, which I did. I got this bolt turned down, and I was going to get a tap and put on it. I couldn't find a tap, so what I did do was I set this this thing up for metric threading. This was 1.5 by 1. I had to change a couple gears here on top and a couple gears here on the bottom. I didn't really tighten them up or adjust them too much. I wasn't even sure it was going to work, and I used this little crappy tool post here, and I got one of my old bits that was ground for thread cutting. You can't reverse the you can't change the lead screw. So once you lock it in to wherever it's at, that's where you have to leave it, and then you go back up here to this forward and reverse knob, and you just cut in and then back it out, cut in, back it out, cut in, and every time I'd take just one of these marks here. But anyway, took quite a while, and I did get it, and it's plenty solid. I got it at the right height and everything, and cinches down good, and my tool holders will come in and out good enough. Now I can get something actually on center. But I want to give a big shout out to Napa Auto Parts here in Winston. I went in and I tried to buy a die for the metric. This is I don't really have my glasses on, maybe you can read it, 1.5 by 1 or something. And what this is a thread cleaning kit. They charged me $180, which is what the kit costs, and I bring it back and I get all my money back, so it's a free tool. So yay Napa. Unfortunately, it's a restoring tool. It won't cut a new thread, but I was able to get the thread good enough here in the lathe, and then I was able to put the restorer on it, and that cleaned it up real good. And at the end of the day, after a few hours work, I got myself a quick change tool post. The gears weren't too bad to change. You just take these little nuts off of here, and there's a little split washer kind of spacer back there. I used this gear as a spacer. The regular gear has this, and I laid the ones that were my best fine cutting gears out over here. But they give you a bag of extra gears, and so this lathe had enough MX 600A. So now I'm gonna replace these gears, put the originals ones back in. I've got a 30 and an 84 here, and I don't know what this one is. Anyway, that's my lead screw thing. So I'll take these off and go back to my fine threading, and then we'll try this tool post. Well, here's my tool post on. I made a few passes here on a piece of steel. It's just cold rolled steel, and it's cutting pretty good. But my my tool post holder here is really good. I've got it right on center. Make a couple passes here. Got it running at 600. Go back here, bring this in, touch off. And I got it running in my live center. I'm going to take 5 of these marks. I don't know what that is. I got it going the wrong way. But you can see it's peeling a really nice chip off. That's an insert holder bit, but it's doing a real sweet job there. And you'll see when it gets up here to the step. I don't know what that is. It's probably about 50 thousandths, I would guess. We're running at 600. Didn't change that at all. And it's pulling probably 50 thousandths chip off real nice. I'm not displeased with that at all. It could use a little work, but of course that bit's not really made to give me a smooth finish. But the lathe is working fine now. I tightened some of this up, the gibs and stuff, and then it's still got some play in it. I need to adjust this feed screw in here. But we'll take it over here and I'll show you an interrupted cut. I'll just do this enough to just touch it. And that's an interrupted cut right there. doing much. Bump this in some more here. It's taking it down pretty good, and if I go forward and reverse, it's backing it out, not even putting a scratch on it. And this forward and backward changer works good. Anyway, doing a pretty good job on the sticky steel. You can sort of see where it had a low spot there, but it's cutting nice. This tailstock is it just got some kind of little clamp in there. I need to do something to that, make it a little better. But all of the clamps and tensioning and everything, oh, this just went around in a circle. There it is. That's the tailstock lock. Like I say, all this stuff is kind of funky, but I haven't tried to center it or anything. I don't even know how close to level I am. I made the table pretty level. I don't know how close the lathe is, but it's up and on the table and working. Eventually I got these belts tight, but my my tensioner screws at the maximum and the belts are still pretty loose. They were slipping a little when I was trying to thread with it, but overall it's operational. It looks big in this photo, but it's really not. You know, 3.5 feet long or something, 4 feet. Nothing like that big LeBlanc that I sold. I'm gonna try a piece of this steel here, and I'll center drill it and see what happens with it. Well, here's a 1-inch piece. See what it does with that. It's cutting it pretty good. 660. Yeah, it's just peeling off a real nice chip. And real nice smooth surface. Can't complain about that at all. It's a 1 horsepower or 1.5 horsepower motor, so it'll do a pretty good cut. It's a better lathe than what I need. I could have got by with that little $800 one, but this one's much better. I've got it where it's kind of hard to turn. I still got to work on this. This is just way too sloppy. But it's handling a pretty good sized piece. And I think with a little practice and a little more setup, I'll get this where it works real good. So other than everything being not set up right out of the box, if it would have worked good right out of the box, I'd give it a 10. But because of the way it was, I have to give this thing a 7. And this screw hole down here that holds the cover on that I just knocked on the floor, it won't work because it hits a belt, and it just needed some setup. They should have at least checked it before they sold it, but they didn't. But anyway, for $1,200, maybe they'll give me some of my money back because it was such a pain. It took me a whole day to fix it. We'll see. But overall, it's a nice little lathe.